smell them. Angelica, remember, is very photosensitizing, so probably wouldn't put it on. So can I have you come up and you can be in charge of the oils? And then when they get all the way around, if they just make their way back in the bag, it'll be a test and see if we can put them back in there alphabetically. So going this way. All right, so the first one I wanted to talk about, and the reason I did this is I have a Facebook page, Animal Sense University. It is an educational platform that I am partnered with Kate Brown. She's a certified clinical aromatherapist who started out as a client of mine, started using essential oils on her husband's horse, his team penning horse. We competed together in competition. And one of the first things she said, can these be used on people? And I'm like, yeah. So Kate embraced that, went all out, and she's now a certified clinical aromatherapist, teaches for Isha. She also teaches for Healing Touch for animals. So we put together Animal Sense University, which is an educational platform, non-branded. So that's why we can kind of, I like to call it, talk turkey about what the oils can do, what we can do with the oils. So this is why I'm only going to be talking about single oils to kind of get around the whole FDA compliance thing, okay? So Angelica, this is steam distilled from the roots, is very calming and sedating, and it may take a bit of getting used to when you smell it. And I kind of hesitate to tell people what I think an oil smells like when you first get going with it, because I think it really colors your perspective on that. An example, I will share this one story, but I was at an essential oil convention where a blend for men was being presented for the first time. It's called Shutron. And I was in the exhibit area, and the gal in front of me dipped a little stick in the oil, smelled it, and I don't know who she was. She turned around and said, well, now I know why men like this. It smells like Coors beer. And I'm like, what? So of course, then when it's my turn, all I'm smelling is Coors beer. Well, I've since become more familiar with that oil, and it doesn't smell like Coors beer, but I just kind of hesitate to say I let people decide for themselves. But now with that story being prefaced, I think Angelica smells like a cigarette ashtray. But it is pretty amazing. It has some really great attributes, and it's really great when you combine it with other oils. It supports emotions and the physical body. And when you blend it with some other oils, and my mouse is not working here. Oh, never mind. When you blend it with other oils, you can really create an opportunity to support emotions and the physical body, especially the nervous system. So these are some of the oils that could be blended with Angelica. And we'll talk a little bit more about how you decide. And Dr. Nancy's given you some great pointers. Dr. Barb is going to have a workshop with like how you decide. So when I talk about blending with some of these oils, I'm not necessarily going to tell you how much or how many oil drops to put. You guys get to figure it out for yourself. But so these are some great oils, and you may even see some other blends out there that have Angelica in it. But just remember, the big thing with Angelica is if you're going to use it, put it where the sun don't shine, because it's going to be very, very photosensitizing. Okay, who has B? Stand up, tell us your name and where you're from, and give me a bee oil. Basil, okay. I'm going to talk about black pepper. So we frequently use black pepper in the kitchen, but what about the benefits of it as an essential oil? So the amazing thing about this oil is the beta-caryophyllene content in it. And if you're familiar with what beta-caryophyllene does for the body, especially from an anti-inflammatory perspective, it is amazing for that. It can also be used to help addictions. So with like nicotine cravings, and fortunately, I personally haven't had to deal with that, but I know people that have used it to help help them to stop smoking. And just remember, this can be kind of strong. It might irritate mucous membranes. So if you are going to think about using it topically, you probably want to think about diluting it. It's considered very warm and I use it as an oil if I want to tonify a yang excess. This is so great that that Dr. Nancy's talk kind of feeds in with some of the stuff that I put together here. But it can also promote courage and self-confidence. And for tired muscles, you can blend it with some of these oils too and make yourself a nice little liniment. But black pepper, marjoram, I do a lot of, the way I learn a lot is by alliteration. This way I like to teach. I think it's easier for people. It was for me to remember that. So marjoram and mussels. So these are some oils that could be really good to help with tired muscle situation and liniment. I use this a lot for dogs in practice with arthritis. So it can be very helpful. Some arthritis respond better to warming, others need cooling, but in that situation, black pepper is a good one. Who has C? Oh yeah, my favorite oil. My middle initial is C for Christine, but I really think it should be copaiba because it's probably the most used oil in my practice. And so I thought somebody's going to say, you didn't talk about copaiba. I know, but there's some other really good C oils out there. So I chose cistus. And this oil, along with helichrysum, is a staple in my surgery room. So the combination of helichrysum and cistus can be huge when we talk about the hemostatic properties of these oils. So we're in surgery, sometimes we need a little assistance. And so that's where the cistus comes in. The alpha pinene content in cistus is amazing because it's really been studied for its cytoprotective effects. And it helps modulate inflammation as well, which sometimes people don't realize. And so it's also been studied for its cellular regenerative properties too. So consider this oil for like your first aid kit. It's a very thick oil. Make sure you keep the cap on. Don't leave the cap off. It'll start to oxidize and it's going to be really hard to get that cap off. It's going to be kind of gooey if you don't leave it, if you don't keep it, open it, use it, put it back together. But these are some of the oils that you can blend with cistus. And so like I said, cistus, helichrysum, sometimes if we have an animal, I call them being an overachiever, when we draw blood and they keep giving us blood afterwards, I'm gonna grab the cistus and helichrysum and apply it to the area. But these are some of the other oils that can be used. It's like I said, it's a thicker Band-Aid type of oil, kind of like myrrh in those properties. Very, very skin friendly. Okay, who has D? One D oil. Okay. Some of these are tricky, and there are some in the alphabet that I couldn't find, so we'll go from there. But the D oil I wanted to talk about was Divana. And I had seen Divana in several blends that I had been using. And then when the essential oil company of my choice that I prefer to use came out with it, I latched right onto it. And this is kind of a really amazing oil. It transforms when you use it. What it smells like in the bottle as it goes around, if you wear it, it's going to smell differently. If you put it in with some other oils, it just changes things. And it's kind of like magic, I think. And some of the oil blends that you see out there, I mean, I really like lilac. I really love the scent of lilac, but there's no lilac essential oils really out there. And I think it's because the plant you can't extract that particular essence out of it. And I was trying to find one of the diffuser combinations for lilac, and I'm pretty sure it used Divana, but I couldn't find it. So the next best one is apple strudel. Again, sometimes you'll see some of these fragrances out there as a blend, but there's that is all synthetic. If you're going to use something called apple strudel essential oil, that's not there. But this is really close. So with the cassia, vanilla, and Divana, it's pretty amazing. It is also amazing enough, really good at treating acne and pimples. So it can be really helpful for the skin. So you'll see it a lot of times in some of the face creams and moisturizer preparations that are out there. But one thing that I thought was really interesting about Davana is the fact that there's been studies to show that it can help lower blood glucose. There's some other